Welcome back to the White Noise Podcast. I'm Ethan, joined by, as always, Gavan.
Yo.
And Jacob behind the glass.
What to do?
Today, we have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine.
Mine too.
And Jacob's. Not Gavin's, though.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Brett. Welcome to the White Noise Podcast.
Heyo, thanks for having me.
Flew all the way from Illinois.
And I thought we were friends, Gavin. You've been to my home.
I was just adding some fluff in there.
Okay.
Added drama.
How was the flight, Brett?
The flight was great. You'd be surprised at how empty a freeway is at 10 o'clock at night. So got here in no time.
That's good. Gavin, I know we talked about last week. I got a pillow. This week I got a bed.
A whole bed?
Upgrades.
A mattress,
Nice.
a bed frame, bed sheets. I got 3 more pillows.
But did you get a blanket?
I already had a blanket, so we were
Well,
good
next
there.
week you got to get a new blanket.
I think I am because this other blanket's pretty small. But I'm broke now because I bought a bed.
So as an avid listener of the show, when you mentioned last week that you were on an air mattress, I wanted more context in that. So would you be willing to share?
What kind of air mattress?
Because I can't be alone.
Really? So
Living quarters are rough.
what had happened was, you can blame Gavin for me being on an air mattress, by the way.
What?
So
I stole the bed.
I moved out of my apartment, and I was in an awkward space of, should I find a new apartment or just, like, what should I do? And then me and Gavin were like, oh, we'll get a place together. But I can't get a place until the summer. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just rough it at my parents' for a while. And I thought it was going to be a shorter time than it was on the couch, so then I just got an air mattress because I was sick of sleeping on the couch, and it was like 3 feet high. So it was pretty cool. It was only pretty cool for about 2 weeks because then there was a hole in their mattress and I couldn't find it. So every morning I'd wake up in this deflated blob. It'd take me like 5 minutes to get out of it.
Did you ever go in like the bouncy houses when you were little? You would like turn it off while
I've
you were
never
in
turned it off, no.
You've never done that?
No.
Oh, I used to do that all the time. Have it collapse all around you.
Explains a lot.
That sounds terrifying.
Just a little bit.
It's actually a fear of mine when I was little.
Speaking of avid listener with Brett, I do want to give a shout out to the Wave God, Anthony. Been an avid listener ever since we started. Subscriber, commenter,
Let's go.
a white noise connoisseur.
All 5 of his accounts, right?
We don't talk about that.
We
Again, shout
appreciate
out.
it, though. We appreciate the numbers.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks, Wavy.
I like every one of Brett's comments too. So
Avid commenter. Love it. Enjoy it, especially the one that we talked about last week about Jacob's car accident.
See, what you do is you comment about something that happened toward the end of the video, so that way the people listening know that you didn't just tune into the first
you got
5
the
minutes.
strats.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
I'll
it.
just skip to the end. I'll just skip to the final 10 minutes.
You found out my secret.
All right, Jacob. Let's slap this sausage around. And we're back. So, speaking of back, you know what's not back in stock? PlayStation 5s.
Ooh.
Have they ever really been in stock?
Well, so I read that there will continue to be shortages with PlayStation 5s because they're missing a certain chip that goes in it.
I think it's the processor.
Yeah, processor chip, to where they can't get any more right now, so they're unable to make more. And then I think I read something last week that said to counteract that, they're just gonna make more PlayStation 4s.
I mean, isn't it? I heard that was the same problem with like PCs too, right? Isn't there like a certain chip?
Like graphics cards are
Yeah.
impossible to get. So recently I got a new PC, and I had to get like a pre-built because I had a PC before, but I was like, okay, maybe I could upgrade like my GPU, my graphics card. But it's like for the latest one, like $3,000 or something,
God.
like a couple thousand. I was like, okay, I'll just might as well get a pre-built, and if I need to upgrade it later down the line, that's what I'll do, just because it was the most cost-effective.
Yeah. So
the chip shortage is also in like cars and stuff too.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
everything
it's a car.
nowadays.
there's a shortage everywhere.
Suits.
There's a suit shortage, guys.
The Whataburger ketchup shortage. Supply chains are really messed up back there.
When was okay? Whatever.
You guys both have PlayStation 5s, right, Gavin, Brett?
No.
I sure do, and I've
Okay.
been playing a lot of Guardians
you
of the
did.
Galaxy.
How is that?
Surprisingly really good.
I remember I saw a review about it because it was the same people that made the Avengers game, and that was the last game I bought at launch, which was a grave mistake. But the Guardians of the Galaxy is different.
I still liked the Marvel. It was not what I anticipated it in any way, but it was like I still played through and beat it and whatnot. But after I beat it, I never picked it up again.
Yeah.
But Guardians of the Galaxy it's way different. It's a lot funnier. It's what I like about it is it doesn't try to be Chris Pratt. It's its own
thing.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it for sure.
Which is what I liked about Nolan North's Iron Man performance.
What's your favorite game on the PlayStation 5? If exclusively PlayStation 5, the best experience, what's your favorite game?
Returnal. I cannot hype that game up.
Is that the one that
anymore.
you showed me?
Yeah, you guys came over once I showed you, but Returnal, it's like a roguelike mystery. Like you play as this astronaut, Celine. She crash lands on this planet, and there's like weird stuff going on this planet. But every time you die, she wakes up again back at her ship, very confused, and everything that happened to you in the game, you lose all the progress. So it's basically trying to beat the game in one run, and there's checkpoints along the way and stuff, but it is very difficult. But once you get the curve, it's incredible.
It's probably better than Ark.
That sounds fun.
I hate Ark so much.
Ark just sucks because people would just destroy everything.
Wait, Dinosaur Ark?
Yes, I hate
I
that game
love
so
to hate
much.
that game.
It's so fun to grind.
I know.
The moment you get off, you're just like, yep, I'm going to come back tomorrow morning and everything's gone. Or I'll wake up in a
Exactly.
cage.
Yeah.
Wake up in a cage.
Wasn't it like I saw one of those memes and someone made I don't know if it
Steam
was,
review one?
I don't know if it was Ark or Rust
so
or
funny.
something, but someone made like their house or something. They had a sign outside that says, "Please don't raid my house. I work 10-hour shifts."
I think that was Rust. There's a Steam review that's written. It's like they gave it like a thumbs down, but it shows they logged like 200, 300 hours in the game.
Oh my God.
And then so like they made their bad review, they gave them all their problems, and then it shows on like Steam when you made the review how many hours did you have, and then currently how many hours did you have. So when he made the review, he had like 200, 300 hours, and then after the review, he played another like couple hundred hours. And it was like so like a post was about the review. It was like he played this game, hated it, and then played another couple hundred hours, and then somebody
make sure you
commented
hate
it was
it.
like, this is definitely Ark Survival Evolved.
The game was fun. It just sucks because everything would get destroyed. So it was the
No
most
regrets.
frustrating thing.
Gotta start
times.
back over.
It was fun, especially when you're playing with everyone else. Too.
I liked being super short and super fast.
You gotta make sure your head is like the biggest part of your body, but everything else is the smallest it could possibly be.
Brett, did you play either of the Spider-Man games?
Both of them.
Both of them?
Both of them are great. I mean, the only problem with Miles is just how short it was compared to the first one.
Okay, that's not my only problem with the Miles one.
What did you not like about it?
It was short because I beat it in one sitting on my
Yeah.
day off.
Jeez.
But I felt like the story lacked a lot of weight. It felt very Disney Channel-y to me.
Do you feel that way because Peter Parker has all the good villains and they had to kind of reach a little bit for the Miles villains?
Maybe, but
Like
I don't want to get into my
Doc
opinions
Ock
about Miles.
was pretty cool in
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
like your first
pretty
your
good.
first boss in Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk, right? And then you face off the Sinister Six basically, and then in Miles it's like, oh, it's the Prowler. Who? You know?
Hey, I like the Prowler.
Yeah, I did too.
Banger
But
theme
Yeah.
song.
I guess it's because it's more origin story Miles as opposed to an experienced Peter.
that's a good point. Yeah,
Well, to be fair, everybody knows who Peter Parker is.
Well, that's why it was an experienced Peter. Who?
And I guess set up Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for Spider-Man 2.
One thing I don't know why they did though.
Oh, I know why.
Do you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, say it.
So they made the Spider-Man game, right? And then later on they added DLC, but then they went back and changed the guy who
Yep.
played Spider-Man.
Okay,
from
let me
start
get
to
into this
finish.
real quick.
Do it, please tell me. I have no idea why.
It's been over a year since it happened, so a little foggy on the details probably, but their excuse was the actor's performance he didn't emote enough, or I don't like the other actor they went with, the new actor they went with was better on next gen, is I think what they said, but they were being kind of dodgy about it. And after playing Miles Morales with the new Peter Parker face, like I didn't mind it. I just didn't like that they made that change because it was really unnecessary. And
From a purely developmental standpoint, I could maybe see that being possible, but You could just change it in the Spider-Man Miles Morales and say, okay, this is the new one. You don't have to. Well, if
Or you
it
just make
affects the
different
next gen,
versions.
then I guess that's why. But
See, like
That's
here's-
weird.
Here's the thing to me: is like if that guy his acting was bad, I didn't notice it because I'm not playing the Spider-Man game for people's acting. You know?
Well, they're keeping the same voice. They're just changing the face.
Yeah, that's odd. I don't know.
Like
very odd.
Because it's
I
a
liked
different
the Spider-Man, the
it's a different
original.
voice actor than face. So they're keeping the same voice. It's a different face, which you don't even see the face all that much in the game. Only in like cinematic moments, but
I don't know if you know this, but Spider-Man wears a mask.
he
What?
does. He does wear a mask.
So-
and I made such a big deal about it when it happened because
I remember that.
I don't use it anymore, but a Spider-Man meme account, and I kept posting like hashtag not my Peter and posted all these memes about it.
Drop the link. What's the at?
So I don't post on it anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Speaking of Spider-Man,
Spiderboy62.
speaking of Spider-Man, is it true there's going to be The Amazing Spider-Man 3?
That's
I've heard so many different rumors about it. Is that actually a thing
I've
or no?
taken a step back from Spider-Man news and just
No Spider Lord?
learn to go outside and enjoy my life. Just kidding, guys. I love Spider-Man. So the whole thing is Andrew Garfield did so great, spoilers, in Spider-Man No Way Home that people were like, oh, he deserves a third film. He deserves a third film, which it's possible. I guess we'll have to wait to see what the hell they do in Morbius, which no one knows what universe that takes place in because they have the Amazing Spider-Man style, the Amazing Spider-Man Oscorp building. They have like Tobey Maguire's Daily Bugle font. They have Michael Keaton in it, so people are so confused as to what universe that takes place in. But Tom Hardy's Venom has a very similar tone to like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So it'd be cool to see them together. So people are advocating for it. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but Andrew Garfield did say he is open to a third movie.
Dope. I want to see a new one.
I mean, it'd be very interesting to see too because the new Doctor Strange movie is supposed to have
Exactly.
like
yeah.
the most Marvel characters in any movie
And
ever.
Tom
And
Cruise,
it's
Iron
Sam
Man.
Raimi directing it. Sam Raimi's directing it, who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy. It'd be super cool to have Tobey Maguire come back again.
I'm saying it right now. If Iron Man walks out and takes his helmet off and it's Tom Cruise,
It is.
I am
That's what it's
leaving
gonna be.
the theater.
That's what it's going to be because I thought there was like behind the scenes photos of Tom
Yeah, I
Cruise
was gonna say, I thought it was
as
confirmed
Tony
already.
Stark
I'm going to throw up.
because the context behind that is Tom Cruise was almost cast as Iron Man back in 2008, but he was too expensive for the budget that the movie had.
Multiverse.
So they're like, oh, let's do this as a cameo of sorts to that.
They get Terrence Howard back.
It's just
Yo, I liked him in that one.
he did good in that, yeah. Speaking of Marvel movies, you guys excited for the Channing Tatum Gambit movie that's been in development for like a decade?
I'm just excited to look at Channing Tatum again.
Well, guess what? It's not happening.
Sad.
What?
Yeah, it's not happening. Channing Tatum recently spoke about it, saying he's a little salty that it fell through during the whole Fox and Disney merger. So they scrapped it.
To be fair,
Was that like the announcement that it fell through?
Well, like,
Did anybody know before that?
I was gonna say, did anybody really know about
It's just
it?
like, oh yeah, I was really sad when it got canceled, and everybody's like, what? Huh? Who?
well, it was always in development. Right before the merger happened, I think they were actually starting on it, but then nothing ever happened for it.
Sad.
I mean, not to say they won't do something with that eventually, because whatever story they
Well,
had probably wouldn't make sense.
It's
in
just
the
a
new
matter.
universe.
It's just a matter of the character, I guess.
I mean, Gambit's cool. He's a cool
Gambit is
character.
cool.
So I mean, I don't see why
I
they wouldn't.
think it's so funny because it's been like, oh, Channing Tatum's going to play Gambit since like 2009.
I think my favorite X-Men though was always Nightcrawler. So I mean, Nightcrawler movie. I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
cool. Maybe we'll get it.
All the X-Men are pretty underrated.
I can't wait to see how they incorporate that in the MCU.
Except for Toad. Never liked Toad.
What happens to
I was like, what does
Toto
this have to
when
do with Mario?
I thought you said X-Men.
Mario.
Do you guys do you guys know what happens to a toad though when it gets struck by lightning?
It's the Joker. Is this
It's
serious?
a quote from the movie.
Oh, no, I haven't seen any of the X-Men movies.
That's the first X-Men, right?
I think
I thought it was a third. I thought it was The Last Stand.
I'm pretty sure that was the first X-Men.
The guy with the tongue, right?
Yeah.
I remember that being the first one.
Yeah.
With the Statue of Liberty. Is that also the
if
first
it
one?
is- yeah, the Statue of Liberty is the first one.
That's the guy with the tongue, then, right? And the Sabretooth is also in it.
Yes.
Correct.
I think so.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Before it was Lieb Schreiber.
Yeah.
What a cool guy. Okay, that's a Channing Tatum movie for you.
Rest in peace.
Real quick, Super Bowl is the Cincinnati Bengals
Yay!
and the LA Rams.
Ooh.
Real quick, Gavin, who do you got to win?
Bengals.
All right, Brett,
I just hope everyone has fun.
Boo.
Jacob,
I'm kind of torn. Bengals, of
Bengals,
course.
yes, and the Bengals. And
Now, who do I want to win versus who do I think is going to win?
Bengals. Both.
what's your?
I think the Rams will win, but I want the Bengals.
You think
to
the
win.
Rams will win?
Yes,
I think the Rams are capable of winning.
and it's at home, so it's like
They're the villains.
I mean,
They're the villains. Yeah,
I want the villains to lose, but I mean, I don't know.
too.
I want the Bengals to win, but I think Rams win.
I have so
Lunar-
much hatred that I can't say here.
Was
but
it?
Yeah, I have
Lunar
hatred
New
for
Year
them.
just happened, and it's the year of the tiger.
El Tigre.
So
Lunar
Cincinnati,
New Year.
Cincinnati Bengals.
I
got a
are
red
Tigers.
envelope.
Was it an omen?
I think the prophecy is sealed, guys. And
Nice.
Joe Burrow will be the first player to win the Heisman, college championship, and the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes.
That's a cool fact. I'm going to use that for my fact of the day. Thanks.
Oh, well,
Unless he
Okay.
loses.
well, if he wins, but then he'll have a whole career to win the Super Bowl to still make that true.
No Heisman winner that's won the championship has ever won a Super Bowl?
True story.
Wow.
Really? I didn't know that.
Me
Really
neither.
goes to show. Really goes to show. What was the stat about winning a
The
championship?
Joes?
Yeah, the Joes. What's that stat?
So Joe Montana, Joe Namath are the only two quarterbacks to win the college football championship and the Super Bowl. And if Joe Burrow wins this, he'll be added to that list. So all three will be Joes. Average Joes.
Who's Joe?
Who's Joe? So stupid.
Joe Burrow. Joe Montana.
Speaking of Joe Burrow, The Godfather.
I was going to say, love to see where this goes.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of.
I really liked his performance in The Godfather. Thought he was really great in the film.
Joe Pesci was in Goodfellas, which is a mobster movie, and then The Godfather. Let's do that. It's very
Okay,
bad.
yeah.
Okay.
Good transition. Another Joe.
Okay.
I got a friend named Joe. You want me to call him real quick?
I have a friend named Joe, too.
He's my friend. Shout out, Joe.
Shout out, Joe. Joe, if you're listening. Hi.
I have a brother named Joe.
All right, give me a rundown of The Godfather. Synopsis,
All
go.
right, The Godfather. The synopsis. Crap. What was the synopsis? I wrote it down somewhere. No, I didn't.
jeez.
Okay. It's a movie about a guy named The Godfather, which, for a movie about The Godfather, he's barely in it. What was that?
He was in it for a big chunk of the movie.
He's barely in it.
How is that barely in it? He was in it
He was in
like the main character for the first hour.
I don't think so.
Now,
Hold on, let me give the synopsis really quick. Basically, it's a mafia crime family, and it's a mafia crime family going to war. The main character was initially not supposed to be a part of that, but then he gets sucked into it and has to do things that he never really wanted to do and that his father never wanted him to do, and it just leads to a whole bunch of ugliness and chaos.
Now, back to that comment about The Godfather not being in the movie so much. Do we know who they're saying is The Godfather? Because it could technically go one of two ways.
You know, you're right there. You're right about that. You're right about that. Okay, Gavin, initial
thinker.
thoughts.
I really liked this movie.
I was thinking about that too.
I thought it was. I did think they got a little, just a little boring at times. For me, it was mostly in the beginning, like within the first hour of the film. But after that, it really started to pick up. Like second and third act was really good. Really loved that nobody seemed to be immortal in this movie, so it was always on edge with who's gonna die, especially when they all came at points in time where you didn't really expect it. Sure, there were parts maybe leading up to it, but not until right before it happened. So especially the part with Polly getting murked in the car. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I had no idea that was. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I mean,
Well,
I had no idea that was going to happen.
yeah.
right then and there.
They said, hey, take care of Polly. That's what he said the scene
Yeah.
before.
But I mean, I didn't know they were going to do it right there, just so casually like that. But I mean, most of the cast died, so I like that whole.
Spoilers.
No shit, spoilers. We're going over it. But the whole thing where it's, most movies have it where the main characters aren't really going to die sometimes. Maybe side characters will, but here it felt on edge to see who was going to die next and, who was going to be left remaining.
Okay.
I like that aspect.
I feel the opposite. You said the first act was boring. I felt that the first hour and a half was great and could have been its own movie. Like, and up until Al Pacino's character killed the two guys in the restaurant and all that happened, if you rolled credits there, then I felt like that would have been a solid movie on its own. After that, the next hour and a half after that, I felt it was really boring and slow at parts. And nothing was really happening, especially with the whole Al Pacino being in Italy. Once he got back from Italy, then that's when it kind of picked up again. And then the last 15 minutes was good. I think so. The Godfather is critically acclaimed, being one of the greatest movies ever. I can understand that for its time. I don't think it still applies today.
Hot take.
That is very hot.
Very
take.
hot take. Yeah.
Tell a film guy that. Tell a film guy that's your opinion. Brett, you watched The Godfather.
I did. Avid listener. I heard that was the movie for this week, so I knew I had to watch it to be in the discussion. So I guess
More than I would do.
So I guess of the two stances, I'm maybe a little different from both of you. I just want to go on record and say I am not a fan of mobster movies in any way, shape, or form. And I'll tell you exactly why. I don't think that there are many characters in films that I can relate less to than mobsters. So I can't relate to them geographically, culturally, ethically, religiously, morally, or even in my everyday life. Like, down to the scene where he was afraid to tell his girlfriend that he loved her on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm not in his head, but what I know about mobsters and the way they're portrayed in movies is they're these hyper masculine, like, I'm afraid to show any form of affection because that could be portrayed as femininity. Did any of you watch The Sopranos?
I've seen not, but I want to watch it so bad.
Okay. Well, there's a brief little storyline. One of the can I swear on this program?
Of course.
Heck yeah. No, but one
Evan's
little
a potty mouth. I thought you were an avid listener.
But like, when you go in your friend's house and you see none of them wearing shoes and you ask to take your shoes off, it's kind of one of those things.
Yes, I'm around a lot of Asians.
Anyway,
He has an Asian girlfriend. That sounded so weird.
to quote John Mulaney, we take our shoes off at home. It's not an Asian thing. It's more for carpeting. But no, there's a scene in The Sopranos, like a little storyline where one of the guys, one of the Sopranos, goes down on a woman and she tells people about it and they make fun of him for it, and he basically like threatens to kill everybody for saying that because the act of going down on a woman could be seen as feminine, right? So fellas, let me ask you a question. Is it gay to go down on a woman?
I would have to say no.
That's a moral dilemma right there.
So all of that to
I've
say,
never done that. Hi, Mom.
all of that to say, like, I don't relate to mobsters, and
Okay.
I get it that the mobster was just a way to deliver the message of the movie. Again, it's 50 years ago, so now you're adding and the movie took
Jeez.
place. The movie took place even before
I know
that.
it took place in the 40s. Here's
Right.
the
I
crazier
knew it,
thing.
okay.
Here's the
I
crazy.
never realized that part, but I'm like, the cars they're driving are so like World War II era.
So, and he was a war hero in World War II.
Yep.
So,
There you
you say that. What'd you say?
You tell me.
Jeez.
Not relating to
Okay,
monsters.
no, yeah, you say the whole. It was 50 years ago, and it's
Right.
like really, it's old. Typically, I don't like older movies, but I liked this one because it had such a different vibe to it than the older movies. I really enjoyed more of the technical aspects, the filmmaking aspects, rather than what the story was telling. The story was good, but I liked the lighting, which this movie is famously known for. They tell a story through the lighting, and I can get into that, especially with specifically Al Pacino's character. The lighting is a symbolism for evil, darkness. So when you first meet Michael, Al Pacino's character, you see his full face. It's lit up. He's not supposed to be a part of this. As the movie goes on, it starts the lighting every time you see him. Half of it is lit. The other half is dark. so they don't have a fill light to brighten up the other side of his face. Showing his descent into the family, into that lifestyle. And then even the part when he goes to Italy, it shows his face again, his full face, because this might be a stretch. He's not in reality. It's more of a fantasy world for him, which is why the entire time he is in Italy, it seems like it's super unnecessary to the movie, where he's there, he meets a girl, marries her, she dies, and then he comes back and acts like it never happened.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially when he
Right.
gets with the new girl after that, too. It's like, are we going to tell her about that part?
And then by the very end of the movie, his face is lit exactly how Marlon Brando's was in the very beginning of the movie.
I noticed that, too.
So I really enjoyed seeing those things gradually happen, and even just the lighting tell a story.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like shitting on this movie in any way, shape, or form. It's just I'm not the demographic I think for this movie, because I don't relate to these characters. The person I related to most, and not to get a little dark here, was when Carlo was beating his wife. I was like, oh wow, this looks like my childhood. That was my mom.
Oh my god!
I thought you were about to say you relate to Carlo beating the shit out of
No, I was on the receiving
what?
end of that.
Oh my
so,
God.
and it makes sense now. I think my old stepdad kind of idolized these characters, and took watching this movie for me to have my own little internal therapy session.
Okay.
But I totally
So-
agree. The cinematography is great. Everything except for that one fake punch that Sonny threw. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
It was so bad. They filmed this when he goes.
Which part?
So Sonny went to go beat up Carlo, right?
Okay.
And they filmed him beating him from the side.
Yeah.
No alternate camera angle, and he just
you can totally
whiffs
tell.
it. He's
I
like
remember that.
literally 2 feet away with a fist, and they left that shot in. I don't know why.
Critically acclaimed.
Well,
Can't argue.
so the cinematographer was avidly against any, for that time, modern filmmaking camera techniques. So he didn't want to do anything like any helicopter shots, any crane shots, any zooms or anything, except for some exceptions, like the opening of the movie when it's really close on that guy's face and it slowly zooms out to an over-the-shoulder look. And then because he wanted the camera to be point of view shots, so the only exceptions was the zoom because it introduces the movie, and then when the Godfather got shot and was in the street, and then the very above look. And a fun fact for that as well is Francis Ford Coppola, the director, argued hey, we should have that shot because it's God's point of view looking at him, and then that kind of convinced the cinematographer, okay, you got a point there. So that's why they had the above shot. But really liked the cinematography because it was simple and effective. It kept things grounded and realistic, as well as already touched on the lighting, which was pretty lit.
And one thing I really appreciated is I didn't see a lot of the mob stereotypes that I'm used to seeing, where someone, oh, come on, give me some more money so I can stay in this game. I'll pay you back. And then it ends up with them having to get their legs broken. There was nothing about civilians. It was all just the internal politics of this
Which
one mob.
I really enjoyed.
Right.
You not being you can't relate to a mobster, it just makes me think of Ray Liotta's line in Goodfellas of, for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a gangster. Which I like Goodfellas. It's one of the few Martin Scorsese movies I actually like.
I'm a fan.
I, on the other hand, relate heavily to mobsters, as you can probably guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's very obvious.
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. So that's
What's your guys' percentage rating? Moist meter knockoff. What is it?
moist meter? Gosh, I was hoping no one would notice.
You're with me. I notice it all.
What? Gavin, what's your Gavy Wavy percentage?
I'm gonna have to give it an 85.
Yeah,
In my opinion, if the ending wasn't, if the full last half of the movie wasn't as good, I would have rated it lower than I did Departed. But to me, The Departed, the ending just murdered the whole movie. So, total difference here. I loved the ending of Godfather. Therefore, 85% for me.
E-diggy dog.
All right. I always come into it with a percentage rating, and then after I talk about it, it's different. I showed up here wanting to give it an 80, but then after talking about it, I have to agree with Gavin at an 85. I just got really excited during the lighting part. I don't know. The lighting told a story. That was such a good story.
Oh, and we got to talk about the score, too.
Yeah. the cool thing about this movie is it's called one of the greatest movies of all time, and that shows a lot with the iconic parts in it, because I've seen a lot of iconic parts in this movie parodied in other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, like in How I Met Your Mother, they do it a couple times, like with the horse head. With
I think I actually read somewhere that they used an actual horse head for that too.
I believe it. That was brutal. The whole like
Awful.
I'm gonna give him an offer he can't refuse. That's quoted
Everywhere.
a lot. And then the very end during the baptism hits scene, like where they were killing all the other bosses, I was like, have I seen this before? I feel like I've seen this before. And then I realized, oh, they parodied that in Modern Family. So then after I finished the movie, I pulled that up and I was like, yep, this is where it's from. So Brett, what would you give it a rating of?
I'm gonna say, like, I didn't dislike the movie. You know, I'm aware that I have my own biases about just the genre itself and the characters. I didn't dislike it, so I will give it a 6 out of 10, which is a 60%, which is a certified fresh. Barely.
All right, barely. Okay, I can accept that. When I first watched it, like halfway through, I was like, man, I have to get this like a 65. And after I finished it, I was like probably like a 70. And then I went home and I was like, 75. And then I got here and I was like 80. I gave it an 85. It just, honestly,
that mountain.
I jump. with movie reviews, I think it just depends on my mood.
I wish you were my teacher.
I would be a horrible teacher.
All right, Brett, do you want to introduce next week's movie?
Yeah, so thanks for letting me pick. My recommendation to you, I know you haven't seen it, Ethan. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but
Those are
Ex Machina came out
2014,
2014, yeah, just a few years ago. It's got Oscar Isaac and Donald Gleason. They are the two main characters. So just brief synopsis. Oscar Isaac is like the CEO of this weird, very futuristic like tech company. He's like a billionaire, and he's working on a new project. And he has he holds like a little raffle or something within his company. And Donald Gleason's character wins, and so he gets to go help him test out his new project, which is going to Oscar Isaac's weird house in the middle of nowhere and testing out this new robot to see if it passes the Turing test. And you know what the Turing test is?
Why don't you explain it for the audience?
So the Turing test is essentially if you can communicate with an AI and believe that you're talking to a real person and not that it's an AI, then it passes the Turing test. Yeah, sure,
And
exactly.
Alexa, yeah.
So that's all I'll say. It takes some twists and turns, and it's got like a really satisfying ending, I think, and I'm very curious to see what you guys think next week.
Right after you recommended it to me on one of my podcasts, they talked about it very briefly and spoiled the ending, but I forgot what the ending was, so I'm good. I was like, oh, crap.
Do we know where we can watch this at?
It's on Hulu if you have a Showtime subscription, and Amazon Prime, I believe.
I also
Without any additional, just Amazon Prime.
I believe so.
I have
I
that.
think you can get it on
Watch
other places, but you'd have to pay like a
I also
separate price for it.
let him borrow the Blu-ray, so if you ever have the ability to see it
Watch
with him.
party.
Watch party, yeah.
just take notes.
I take notes while I watch, though. I don't know if you do that.
I watch it usually like either like 2 hours before we come here or like the night before, so it's fresh in my head when we come in.
Yeah, I watched The Godfather today. So,
That's
and I doodled
during task.
I doodled Marlon Brando.
Awesome.
Yo, thumbbell?
I'll post it on the Twitter.
That's pretty good.
It's actually pretty
Not
good.
gonna
Yeah.
lie.
The world needs to see that.
So I'll post it to Twitter for everyone to see. I'll
Twitter at
I'll shout it out at the end of the episode. Just kidding. At OEF_white noise.
There you go.
There you go.
You should just draw somebody from every movie that you watch.
I think I will.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's side note. I've been experimenting with the dark shadows in my
okay.
drawings.
Oh, what a perfect movie to test that out on.
So I've been experimenting with dark shadows on my drawings. So with The Godfather, it was
Perfect.
cool to do.
Ethan
We'll
may or
practice
may not be a vampire. Got it.
that. Speaking of vampires, Paranormal Experience. We've been talking about that the past 2 weeks. Is that a good segue? I feel it's a bit of a stretch.
Mythological.
It's better than your last one.
vampires really
It's better than my last
yeah,
one.
yeah, better than Joe
I'm
Burrow.
gonna-
Yeah.
Speaking of vampires and other supernatural things, paranormal experience, which we've been talking about.
Quick update to last week when I talked about the bump in the night that I heard.
Yeah.
And my mom coming out and yelling at everything. My dad told me what it was.
What was
Did you
it?
hear about this?
No.
So okay, this is when I found out that our dad listens to the podcast as well. So pretty cool. But he walked up to me while we were working and he was like, "Hey, I know what that noise was that you're talking about." And I was like, "Oh, from the podcast." It took me a minute. And I was like, "What was it? Why am I just now hearing about this?" And so my dad has, in the shower, he has a mirror that, when he shaves in the shower, I guess. So he has a mirror to help him in there. Yeah. And apparently that falls down all the time. And that's what that noise was that night. And I was like, I've only heard that one time. You said it happens all the time. But anyway, yeah, that shower mirror falling woke me up and my mom.
Debunked.
That makes sense because your wall's right there.
But
Yeah.
how did it fall?
The ghost.
Oh my
Ghost. So Brett, we want to take this moment to see if you have any paranormal experiences and if you would like to share them
Ghosts,
with the
ghouls?
entire world.
God. Mirrors falling.
Yeah, so you guys have been talking about this for a few weeks, so I was actually glad to be able to come on here and talk about
Fly
this.
all the way out from Illinois, I know.
Yeah, fly very far. Yep, that's what happened. So here's the thing, fellas. I really want to believe in ghosts. I want to so bad. To the point that Jacob made last week, and not to knock anybody listening who has seen a ghost, who believes in ghosts, whatever. But to your point, I feel like if you want to see a ghost, you're more inclined to see it than somebody who is naturally skeptic. I am a natural skeptic, but it ain't for lack of trying. So I'll say so last year, my girlfriend Sammy, some of you know her here.
Hi, Sammy.
Shout out Sammy.
Shout out Sammy. For Sammy's big into horror. We have a horror themed house, basically, and it's our D&D dungeon essentially. But so Sammy loves horror things. So I was like, oh, what better way to scratch that itch and birthday present? So we went out to Jerome. So Jerome, Arizona. It's basically a ghost town. If you've never been there, and it's called that because of like the town's history, right? So while there, like we went on a tour, and part of the tour, they took us to this little, I don't know if it's kind of like an old, for lack of a better term, bucket that they used to like make lava in, essentially to make the rocks that the bricks in the town are made out of. And on this tour, it's a mining city, so there's a lot of mines there, and miners didn't make a lot of money, right? And so
You're not 18, so yeah.
So when the miners died, they didn't necessarily have the money to buy like a plot of land to be buried in, whereas somebody who was rich or had moved there for whatever reason, they basically took care of the body in the cheapest way possible, and that is to throw them into the bucket of lava to use their nutrients in their body as more, I guess, fuel for this. And so on this tour, he handed each of the people there a little piece of rock. Damn. And he's like, "There's a very good chance that you are holding like remnants of a human in you." And he's like, "Look at your feet, and there's like tons of these little rocks inside the stones and the bricks." He's like, "These are all like remnants of like dead people." And I don't know if that's just a story. I believe
that's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, right. So we have like a little we call it a little dead person rock. It's just on the counter at our house.
You took one home?
Yeah, no, he gave it to us. That was part of the tour. He gave everybody one. So we went to Jerome. It's a mining city. Like there's hundreds of thousands of miners have died there, and it's supposedly like one of the most haunted cities in America. And so we stayed at the Jerome Grand Hotel. There's been like one of those ghost shows. I don't know, like
Ghost Hunters.
one of those. But they did an episode.
In ghost hunting.
Yeah, I think it was Ghost Hunters. They did an episode here, but the Jerome Grand Hotel used to be like a hospital, like I don't know if there was like some rooms that were an insane asylum or something, but hospital, lots of dead people there. Just add that on to it, right? So it got converted into a hotel, and there's, you can read up on about it. Like there's tons and tons of stories of people being haunted there and like seeing things. Like people like reported that they left their room for 5 minutes and they came back and all their clothes were like thrown out of the room. Like people see things in the night.
Sorry, my bad.
So we stayed at this hotel, and I booked a room. We were in room 38, right? And then it's just the whole town does the haunted theme. Like right across the street from the hotel, there's a restaurant, the Haunted Hamburger, and like that place is haunted too. You know, so it's just they
tourist attraction.
Exactly, it's a haunted tourist town. So when we did this tour, he like took us on a shuttle, and we drove by the Jerome Grand Hotel, and he started telling us some stories. And he's like, "Oh, there's a sign. If you were to look up the Jerome Grand Hotel, you can see it. There's a big window right next to the words Jerome Grand Hotel, and that used to be like the operating room for this hospital, because it got natural light from the sun, and that's supposed to be one of the most haunted rooms in the hotel." And he told us a story about these like basketball players that the whole team stayed in that room because it's like their grand suite, and people like some of the players woke up and like saw a little kid in the room and like yelled and said, "Hey, what's that kid doing?" And the rest of the team woke up and saw it, and then all of them saw that little kid, and all of them slept in the hallway that night. Like he then went on to say, he's like, the three most haunted rooms in this hotel, 34, 37, and 38. And we're staying in room 38. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like this is going
Get
awesome.
my money's worth.
So, and I was, I'm a skeptic, but I'm fully embracing this. Like for Sammy's birthday, I got her an EMF reader to take on this trip, right? And so on this tour, part of the tour is that they take you to, normally they take you to a school, but they didn't have a contract because of COVID. So they dropped us off at a cemetery. They gave you a flashlight, a spirit box, and an EMF reader. So we had 2 EMF readers. You go around and you're like talking to ghosts and whatnot. And like, when I say I tried so hard, I didn't see a thing there. We went to the hotel. I slept like a baby that night. Didn't have any disturbances whatsoever. Staying in one of the most supposedly haunted hotel rooms. Posting the story, I had several friends reach out and like tell me about their crazy experiences there, but I did not experience a single thing.
Did Sammy experience anything, or say she experienced anything?
She says she might have saw something when I was asleep. But again, I feel like if you want to see it, like you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh no, I'm in a haunted hotel.
No, like
right.
disrespect or anything. If you see stuff, then I mean, I don't want to tell you what you see, but like if people are telling me their stories, like usually they have more than one, or they've seen multiple things. Yeah. Or if you haven't seen anything, you don't see anything. Ever.
Like, yeah, Sammy.
Yeah, like for me, all it would take is
show me the ghost.
All it would take is to see one like person there that I know is dead, and then I turn away and I look back and they're gone. That's it. I'm a believer, but not even one thing like that have ever seen.
Yeah. Huh.
So,
I mean, is it just simply like if you're skeptic, you're more inclined to logically deduce something that you see or hear,
like the placebo effect or something like that?
Maybe. I don't know what you would call that, but like if maybe you're not as skeptic, then you can just chalk that up to, hey, I saw a ghost, rather than
logically
maybe
breaking
it was
it down.
this.
Yeah, it's possible. And not to discount anybody's experience, like I had a chapstick on the table the other day, and I was just playing like my Switch or something, and the chapstick just all of a sudden rolled off the table. Well, the fan was on, so I was like, okay, cool. But like, I know so many people will be like, "Yep, there's a ghost in my house," and like, I have definitive proof from that. So, I don't know.
It's fine. I mean,
I don't know. I think also, as ghosts, like their purpose is to just move a chapstick around or
mess with you,
move little things around. Like that's it. So that's kind of another reason why I'm like, I don't believe in ghosts per se.
Per se. What do you believe in? I believe in like spirits and like demons, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Like
I believe in ghosts,
but I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in like
I believe in spirits.
A soul from a person's body after they died to haunt where they died. I don't believe that.
I've seen many theories about people thinking ghosts are just like little pockets of where time isn't the same, so it's not.
Okay.
It's like something that's happening way in the future in that exact spot. Or
that's a scientific way to break that down as well. Like,
if you could call that scientific, I mean,
well, that's a more logical way than just a ghost. Like
what's scarier, a time pocket or a dead person's spirit?
Yes.
Well, because another thing I saw is like,
I think so.
Like, why are all these ghosts that people experience usually like all the stories are like, oh, early 1900s or 1800 ghost. Like you never see a caveman ghost or a medieval knight ghost.
That'd be
You never hear
sick.
those kind of stories.
Well, there's a show. I think it's called Expedition Unknown. I think that's also on Sci-Fi, along with like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that, where they do talk about ghosts. Where it's like ghosts from like medieval times, or like there's a ghost that'll say their name and they look them up, and it's like, oh, this was somebody who was alive in Victorian era of England or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know if I would ever see a ghost, but I've definitely heard of ghosts where they're like a knight from some point in time, or a German soldier or something like that.
So, Gavin, you say you believe in ghosts, but you haven't seen one, right?
Me personally, I haven't seen. I mean, I've had sleep paralysis, but
Oh yeah.
again, I heard.
No,
that's
I just didn't know
your
if you
mind's
had like
fucking
a
with you.
experience or story or anything.
I like to believe that there's no such thing, but my experience says otherwise. But I mean, I can't prove it, so I don't know.
I personally just come from like my religious background, so I don't believe it, don't see anything, so that's fine.
See, what's really interesting to me, like my stepdad, for instance, he is a firm believer in ghosts, and he like tells me like, oh, yeah, there was like a little ghost of like a 3-year-old boy. I saw him, and I'm like, that's very specific. Like, so I don't think that he's making it up for sure. I just don't. My personal belief is I don't know if you and I could see the same event and I would have that same conclusion that you. I don't know. He said he hears laughing and like he saw like a hand drag across the glass like a little boy would like when you're walking down the stairs or something. So I don't know.
I have heard a laugh before in my house when I was by myself. Swear to God, I have heard a laugh, and I was like,
Oh no.
I was like texting everyone like, "Hey, are you home right now?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Who the fuck laughed then?" Like,
So an instance with that as well is, well, as to Jacob's point of you hear a noise and your brain's like, oh, what could that be? Oh, a laugh. Like that's what your brain immediately goes to.
Maybe you
not to
didn't hear a
discredit
laugh, I don't know.
the laugh,
Yeah.
but
I get that.
That's where I get with like, oh, ghosts. Because with ghosts, it's like these small experiences that you're like, oh, that could be a ghost. It's never like
A ghost tried
ghost.
to kill me.
Yeah, it's never, hey, I'm a ghost. It's like, oh, I might be a ghost.
so then, what are your thoughts on like the haunted Annabelle doll, that kind of stuff?
I don't know.
Do you
I
know
haven't
the
think
story of
about
the
that.
haunted Annabelle doll?
Vaguely.
It's like what? So like, if you don't like believe in that kind of stuff, well, I guess you don't know the story, but
Crazy.
I mean, I do, and I guess my thoughts on like people who experience like haunting persistently in their life. Again, not to discredit you if you think, and I'm not saying that this is you, but I feel like you could chalk that up to this person may have some form of mild to severe mental illness.
So-
if you think that you're like, if you put yourself in like a paranoid state all the time, whether you do it intentionally or not, if it happens to you, you know, that could be chalked up to science, chemicals in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything wrong with you,
Yeah.
but that could explain why that is your conclusion to jump there. So I don't know.
so like do you think there's a link between that and then like possessions or like exorcisms, stuff like that? So like for instance, I don't know if anyone's seen the original Exorcist, but that was based off of a true story. There's
Right.
like actual videos and well, not videos, but like audio tapes of it.
Right.
So do you think? Because I mean, in that movie, the priest is a psychologist who thinks that she's just mentally ill, and you find out, spoiler alert, later in the movie, she's actually possessed. So do you think it's more so those people that were quote unquote possessed were just mentally ill, or if they actually were like possessed by some sort of evil spirit or demon?
Like I believe in spirits and demons, religious background, all that stuff, as opposed to a person who used to be alive who died and is now a ghost. Those,
Right.
I think I see those as two separate things.
I personally, I don't believe in any of that. So, like, I know all these movies say, like, oh, this is based on a true story, but I don't really know what's going on in a person's brain.
That's why they say based
Yeah,
on the
Right.
story.
It's mostly
But-
like loosely based.
And it's also,
Inspired
to your
by,
point, like,
yeah.
Filmmaking tactic.
The Exorcist, how long ago was that made, right? Long time ago.
70s, about the
Yeah.
same time Godfather. I
Yeah.
think it was a little bit later.
And it's like
look it up.
all of these based on a true story. The true story happened back when there was no internet and you just had to like take people's word on it, you know?
Right. Yeah. The Exorcist was 1973.
Right after Godfather, which was 1972.
Like,
Yeah, I guess another thing with that too is like UFOs and aliens were widely popular in the 50s, where they lacked the technology we have today, and it was just going off other people's words and like witness testimonies, as opposed to if I went to you guys and said, "Hey guys, I definitely saw a UFO outside. I saw one, obviously." You guys aren't gonna believe me.
I would. I've definitely seen a UFO before.
Well, I don't believe you, Gavin.
Tell me the story.
Have you ever heard of the Phoenix Lights?
Oh yeah, we saw that, but I thought there was an explanation for that. They
There's always
referenced
an
it.
explanation for all
They
of them.
referenced it in Civil War.
There's always an explanation for all of them. There were always a weather balloon or
A military
an
government.
aircraft.
It's
Or,
the government. They're hiding.
well, I mean, the Pentagon's already released footage.
yeah, they got like
UFOs
swept
are-
under the rug, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know
Coincidence.
what other proof you need, but I for one think it's mathematically impossible for aliens to not exist.
Well,
Just a natural skeptic.
this goes back to the question you guys had like a couple episodes ago. Is like,
Avid listener, yes.
would you rather have the aliens on these UFOs be more advanced than you or less advanced? And if they are on a UFO that they've made it to another planet, they
Yeah.
broke our, they're instantly more advanced.
Yeah,
right?
I was going
Right?
to say. So fortunately, they are probably more advanced.
No,
than us
they're
at that point.
frogs. They're just riding this.
The fact they made, I mean, I haven't seen an alien, but I guess I can't confirm that it was a UFO or something like that. But I mean, I've
Interesting.
seen some very weird shit in the sky that magically just disappears like that.
I feel like that's connected too with like ghosts and aliens. Like somebody who's seen ghosts,
Well, it's like I
they're
saw
probably more likely to see UFOs.
I saw
too,
something
right?
that I thought was a plane.
Again,
right?
no disrespect. Leave your story down in the comments and tell us what you've seen. if
Yes,
you've seen
tell us your
anything.
story. We'll fly you out from Illinois.
So I've seen stuff where it's like I thought it was a plane or something like that, and then it started going in such a weird fashion that I'm like, what aircraft
Probably a helicopter.
could move at this speed and change
Probably a
directions like that?
helicopter.
No helicopter can do that.
I saw it.
I think it was
And then-
Buzz Lightyear.
And then all of a sudden the light just turns off, like
was Iron Man.
disappeared, like stealth mode.
A drone.
Maybe it could be a drone. Think
Government
about that?
drone?
What
Maybe
drone?
they were spying on you.
Exactly.
What
I
do you
don't
do in
know.
your house?
I don't know. I just like when I saw that I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I've never had anything like that happen to me.
I know, and I really wish I do because
That's a cool story.
It'd be a cool experience, cool
Yeah.
story to tell.
I'm not
It's
cool.
scary, dude. It's
I'm
scary.
lame.
Same shit with like ghosts and stuff. It's scary to happen to you.
Like I said, I want it to happen to me. I really do, but it hasn't.
Everybody gangster till you get haunted.
Okay, so with White Noise Chronicle, Brett, do you have a chronicle to share with us?
I do, and actually, it kind of goes along with this discussion.
All right,
a
let's
little
go.
bit.
Perfect. Segue.
So the reason I thought of this story is because I was listening to your Applebee's stories and whatnot.
I love Applebee's.
So I was like, okay, I got to have a fun story from like a previous job or something.
Yeah.
And so I, for a couple of years, worked at the great store known as Spencer's Gifts.
Oh boy.
And
Truly a great
I'm
place for
pretty
gifts.
sure everyone listening to this knows what that is. But if you don't, it's usually always in a mall. It's like the counterpart to your Hot Topic. It's basically when you are a kid and you have an older brother figure, you think they're the coolest person in the world if they take you to the store, right? They have everything from funny mugs to T-shirts.
Would you describe it as like a novelty store?
Novelty like prank
Pop
stuff,
culture.
pop cultures, and then very very focused interests. So depending on where you're looking at, now they have body jewelry, they have like fart gags, they have like
Fart gags?
Yeah. They have like
wanna go to
a
Spencer's?
sex toy section, which is very popular, as you can imagine. So, needless to say, we get a lot of interesting clients here in this store. But one in particular stood out, and I remember because this was right around Halloween, and we had this lady come in, and it was I worked the night shift, and so she was browsing around 8 o'clock at night. The store is kind of empty. And she's looking around our like witchcraft section. So in this witchcraft section, they've got like tarot cards and spell books and all sorts of things for your young aspiring witch, right? So she's looking around for a bit, and I'm just chatting with the manager, and I'm about to go up to this person and ask if they need help. But like right when I like go to step out from behind the counter, she turns around and comes up to the counter with all of her stuff that she has in her hands, like she's got her arms full, and she says to me 7 words that I will never forget.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat to
She's
hear
a
those
witch.
7 words.
Hi, I'm a witch with a problem. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. And
I wouldn't know how to respond to
and
that.
that's not even the most interesting thing about her. So
Hi, I'm a witch with
she
a
sets
problem.
down all of her stuff, and just to kind of inventory what she's put on the counter, she puts the spell book down. She puts a bundle, like a bag full of sage. She puts 2 tarot death candles. You know, like those Mexican candles you can get like the dollar store.
Like the red ones?
Yeah, but
Okay.
and like it's got Jesus on it or something. But it's literally one of those.
Show me again with your hands.
She-
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I can't wait till we get cameras.
So it's one of those candles, but the image on the front is like the tarot card, the death card, right?
Yeah.
Right.
She got 2 of those. She's got some various crystals, and she's holding 2 different packs of incense. She puts this all on the counter, and again,
Sounds pretty expensive.
I look up at her.
Switch is balling.
Yeah, so I look up at her now, and this is the most interesting part, is she has like a 4-inch scar on her face, and it is fresh. It has stitches in it. Like right down her cheek, right? And it like, she probably just got stitches that day.
Was this a young woman? Or?
Yeah, she was probably like 30. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm processing all of this at once, but I'm also not trying to be an asshole and say anything about the
Yeah.
scar because, you know, I'm sure she's very self-conscious
Customer
about it.
service, get it?
Right. So she goes, "Hi, I'm a witch with a problem," and she sets this all down, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, how can I help?" And she goes, "Yeah, I was just browsing the section over there, and I need to know which of these incense is more of high quality." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, you know, this one is, you know, made with this. This one's more quality. It's a little more expensive." And she goes, "Okay, that's what I thought." And she like takes the cheaper one back and puts it down, so she gets the more expensive. And she's like, "All right, this is all." And so I'm bringing her up. And she goes, "Yeah, as you can tell, I had a little run-in with a ferocious dog yesterday." And like, looking at her face, I'm like, "Oh, it makes sense." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that looks really painful. I'm sorry you had to go through that." She's like, "Oh, it's okay. Like I signed a retainer today, so that's going well. So all that's left to do is this." And she like points to all the items that she just put on the counter. And like at this point, I'm done with the transaction, and I'm like, "All right, well, good luck." And then she like, I handed the bag, she leaves. My manager was standing right like off to the side during this, and so I look over to her and I'm like, "Did I just sell this woman ingredients to make a death spell on the dog?" And she goes, "I think you did."
She's gonna put a hex on you, bro. She's a hex girl.
So I will ask you guys here the same question that I asked her that night: is would I be considered an accomplice if this dog dies?
Yep.
Never mess with a witch girl.
No.
I don't think so because it's like if you go to a gun store and sell someone a gun and they go and kill someone, you're not an accomplice for murder.
But they always go back to the gun store.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, I think they do. Like, it
Well, you're
depends
not
on
an accomplice.
depends on how did you go through all the procedures. They're gonna check that first.
Okay, that's for a gun store. This is
Provided you
This is
did.
a retail store.
Are there any regulations on spell books? Does there need to be?
I'm not sure the U.S. Constitution handles.
Does she have a license to carry that spell book?
That's pretty baller though. She's like,
She
I'm
just,
a
like-
witch with a problem.
She just like takes off her blazer and it's got 2 spell books in her arms.
Oh, then now that's concealing it. Now you need a license for that. In certain
reading.
states, depending on your state.
You got the fucking book of Amun Ra over here.
Check with your
Christ.
state for your local spell book carrying
Well-
laws.
I'm gonna need to see your spellcraft permit.
Does that make I would say that does not make you an accomplice.
No, I don't. I agree.
Yeah, so I've
Your
thought,
conscience is clear.
yeah, I've thought for a while now
Is that
about.
dog still alive?
I don't know. I'm scared.
Wow.
Damn.
What kind of dog was this? Did she ever say what
If
dog
it
it was?
if it had that big of a scar on her face, it must have been a pretty mean
I
dog.
thought she was gonna say
Or a
some shit like a
chihuahua,
corgi or something.
Chihuahua is mean.
I try not to ask too much about it because again, I didn't want to like. Oh yeah, that scar on your face. It's
This is pretty gnarly.
Damn, you
it's
look like
pretty
shit.
awful.
What happened to your face?
Oh man. Speaking of customer stories, I had just one happen today. Nothing big, but it still is very strange. So in the area that we work in, Tempe, whatever, it's interesting, to say the least.
Very generous.
college
that.
college students and homeless people.
Yes, it's a very urbanized area. I guess I don't know.
Is there overlap in those 2 groups?
Could be. We've had people sleep behind our store, is what I'm saying. So I mean,
Okay.
I'm working there. I'm in the back. I hear the chime open for people coming into the front door, and I walk out. And before I can even get around the corner to go to the front, I hear like a hello, and you know that's one of my workplace pet peeves.
Right
when
when
people
people walk in. And
Hello.
like, hello, where is everyone? Huh?
So I walk out. There's these 2 younger dudes And before I could even greet him, he's like, "Can I sing a song for you?" And I was like,
The fuck? I don't have the energy for that.
for like 3 seconds, I looked at this guy and I was like, "You what?" That's all I could say. And he's like, "Can I sing a song for you?" And all I could say, I was like, "I'd prefer if you didn't."
I'd instantly be looking for the camera. Like, where is this?
I mean,
Like, are you replacing Joe on Impractical Jokers?
so I was just like, "I'd prefer you didn't." He's like, "Oh, we're just trying to get some money for some gas." Whether he was telling the truth or not, I gave him $5 from my wallet just because I was like, I get out of my store at this point. I was like, if you really do need gas, here's $5. If not, and you're trying to like just get money for whatever reason, then
It's $5.
it's worth it for me to not
I totally would
Have
have obliged
this-
him on that offer.
conversation.
Yeah,
anymore.
sing.
Yes.
Sing. I want you to sing.
Now leave.
Instead, you're like, I'll give you $5 to not sing.
Pretty much, that's what happened. Oh, but that literally happened today. So that's what.
That's weird.
Oh man,
Damn, what would you have...
I
what would
wasn't
he
really
have
in the
sung for
mood
you?
to find out what he was going to sing.
What time of day was it? 'Cause I don't-
It was fairly early in the day,
I get that.
I had
Well-
a schizo customer once.
and I was like doing stuff in the back, like.
Well,
Yeah.
we open at 11. I got here at 10:40, and I walked in. I didn't even turn on the lights but I keep the door unlocked. And then customers came in, and I was like, "Oh, hello." They're like, "Yeah, we're here to pick up." I was like, "Okay." It's still dark in here. I was like, "Okay," and I had to walk and go turn on the lights. And they're like, "Oh, are you not open yet?" And I was like, "No, we open at 11, but it's fine. I mean, it's a quick process." So I
It
thought,
gets pretty dark in here too.
yeah, I
The
know.
lights.
It's like pitch black, and I was like,
No, this is our vibe. This is our atmosphere.
hot topic.
Aeropostale.
Hollister.
Hollister, that's what it was. Yeah.
Hollister. I never shopped at any of those stores. I'm a Walmart guy.
Clearly.
Speaking of Walmart,
That's not a segue. We don't
no,
have a segue.
but here it is.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Walmart, so I have 14 pairs of the same gray shirt. And that's just what I wear.
14 pairs of a shirt? So you
Yeah.
have 28?
14?
So you have 28
I
shirts?
have 7 pairs.
Okay.
Oh, you don't call a shirt a pair, do you? That's
No.
pants.
A pair of shirt?
I have 14 of the same shirt, same gray shirt. I originally had one that I just loved, and then I went and bought like 13 more.
So you're the main character. Your outfit just doesn't change.
I'm a cartoon character, yeah. And then in the winter, I have 2 different gray hoodies.
Jeez.
But anyways, when I bought those shirts, $3.19. That's what they cost each shirt. You know, and I've had them for a while. They're still great quality. I went to Walmart last week, $5.44 for the same shirt.
Outrage.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Good thing I have 14 of them and I don't need more.
Are you worried about people thinking that you don't do laundry?
Well, if they think that, well, it's just it's the fine line between if I see you multiple times to where you see me wearing that gray shirt, you know I have multiple of them. So
I mean, if you go to school, right, or like class, and every time you show up to class you're wearing a gray shirt, are they going to think, oh, this guy has 14
Let him think it.
14
let
pairs
them
of this
think it.
shirt?
If they bring it up, then I'll be like, oh, I have 14 pairs of this shirt.
They'll be like, that doesn't make sense. Why are you in college?
But I'm really excited to see like family event pictures a couple years from now, and in every picture I'll be wearing the same shirt. That's what I'm excited for. It's an investment in that. My family hates it.
Yep.
But I do get a kick out of it. What it got me last week when my sister was like, "Oh my god, Ethan, I really like that shirt." And I was like, "Oh," and I looked down. I was like, "Oh, this is the same shirt I wear every day."
Do you know where else you should look for shirts? Michael's, because they have a whole
They do.
wall. Yeah, with all the
just-
shirts you can like print stuff on.
Yeah. We need to get cameras because Gavin's expressions are
You
just.
can print stuff on shirts at Michael's?
Well, you can get a shirt and then you can print stuff on it.
Yeah.
It's craft shirts.
Craft
Dude,
shirts,
can I
yeah.
get one where I was like me as George Lucas?
You wanna
that
do
picture?
I mean, Sammy has a Cricut, and once
Yeah.
she learns how to use the thing,
I'll send her some stuff to practice
Yeah, yeah.
with, like Gavin's George Lucas face.
just
You
saying,
got that for me
it's
for a shirt,
possibility.
I would totally wear it.
This is you.
Yes.
That'd be pretty. You know what? I'll do it for you. That's your birthday present. All right, cool. Speaking of birthdays, moral dilemmas.
It's also Ethan's birthday this Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
Happy birthday! Woo!
Happy
How old are
birthday
you?
to Brody, my brother. I wished him happy birthday too, but just
When's his birthday?
today.
Oh, happy birthday, Brody.
Love that guy.
Today,
Shout out Brody.
You mean Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Gavin, real quick.
Yes, sir.
You're in a hospital. You're a doctor.
Sweet.
You have 6 patients.
Awesome.
5 of them need organ transplants or they'll die.
That sucks.
All right. And you can't get any organs because there's no organs available.
Okay.
The other patient needs a specific medicine to survive or he will die. Now, if he dies, he's an organ donor and you can save the other 5 patients. But if you give him the medicine, he survives, the other 5 patients die. Do you let this organ donor die and save the other 5, or
This guy's gonna be completely fine if I can save him. Like,
if you can save him, yeah. If you can save him, he'll make a full recovery. He'll be fine.
okay. And these other 5 people, they're for sure going to die.
Their organs are failing.
Total
Yep.
organ failure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a murderer, so sorry.
I think that's
I'm gonna have
that's the moral
Appropriate
answer.
response.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You know, Gavin, the right answer would be you save him and sacrifice yourself. That's the right answer. You give your organs to those people.
Hell no. What the hell?
How many people are dying because Dr. Gavin is no longer there, though?
That's true. That's another
Exactly.
problem to take into
Wow.
consideration. I'm thinking you talk to them right before surgery, and then you say, "Oh, you're going to pull through this," and then when they wake up from surgery, like, "Oh, where's Dr. Gavin? Who do you think gave you the organs?"
You just like took him out.
He also put him in.
Gavin, the organ donor doctor.
Speed running. How long can you last without a liver? Sew this guy up.
Doing all the math of like, okay, which organ can I do first? Which organ I can last the longest without? Doing all that.
You're like, I'm gonna give this guy my liver. All right, someone get me a drink. Oh shit, no, never mind.
Gosh.
Gavin, you're a hero. I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Speaking of heroes, would you save your niece or your
These are
daughter?
getting worse and worse.
Now,
I need to
hold
work
on.
on my segues.
What if the patients? What if the 5 patients were people you knew?
Rest in peace to the dude that can be saved.
I'm not a murderer, except for every instance.
I'm gonna
So
fucking straight out of a cartoon.
if the 5 patients that need organs are people that you know,
Do I like them?
is there an extent to the like you know them?
You love them.
Oh, okay, yeah, without a doubt.
Damn.
You know,
What if-
just,
what if
like,
it was-
you know, do live shit out of a cartoon, like whistle, accidentally kick the fucking bed, and he dies.
I'm not a murderer unless it's for people I know.
Jeez.
What if it's 4 strangers and just one person you know?
I'm
And
single,
like
too.
you met him, like he's all right.
Oh wait, this is just one person I barely know, or
Yeah.
is it like
I'm just trying to find the line.
I barely know him? Nah, I don't care. Sorry,
Oh my gosh.
Well, guess I'm dying. Gavin's my doctor.
I would say we're past that barrier.
You'd
where I
save
barely-
me?
Yes,
Oh, I love you.
thank you.
Wow.
Love
Never
you
mind.
too. God.
Okay.
Oh, Gavin, when are you going to be done with medical school then?
Pending. Still have yet to take one class for that.
Now, what if all 6 people were people that you knew, including the guy you have to kill?
That's a good one. Honestly, it depends who that person is.
At that point, I'm gonna be real with them. Be like,
Yeah,
all
I
right,
know.
bro. Like, I got 5 people in this back room here that are gonna die.
does
if we
that
don't do
does that
this.
6th person know the other 5?
Yep.
Like, if they're just all friends and family,
Yeah.
all connected?
Did we just write a Black Mirror episode?
I'm
I'm gonna apprise everybody of the situation. Be like, so this is what's going on. I'm not gonna talk to the other 5, but I'm gonna talk to the dude that can potentially save all 5, and I'm gonna tell them like, hey, I'm not gonna kill you, but I mean, this is what's going on, just so I can make sure that he lives with survivor's guilt if he chooses to stay alive.
Oh, my God.
Cool.
Oh my
I like
god,
it.
that's a little. That's
Survivor's
survivors.
guilt?
It's like,
I
I'm
was
gonna
going
give you
more off
survivor's
of.
guilt.
I was going more off of like Black Mirror esque.
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I feel like I would tell him like, hey, or her.
If you knew him, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you all 6 of you guys were good friends,
I hate to say
9
it,
times out of 10, that 6th person would be like, yeah, I think that's the best call too.
The
I hate to
5
say it, but I
probably
mean-
wouldn't let him.
I wouldn't tell that to the other 5. I would only talk to the person that could. I don't want to get their hopes up and be like, yeah, don't worry, we're good. Dead. They're gone. I would
Reduced status.
I wouldn't talk to the other 5. I would just talk to the one person that could save them.
That's a tricky situation.
Sounds like a Grey's Anatomy episode.
So would you not talk to the person who has the potential to save everybody, regardless? Just only if it was somebody you knew.
Only if it was somebody I knew. Well, I mean, if there was somebody I knew and there was just 5 random people, they're all dying. But I mean, but if it's like.
You're just so casual about it.
Well, I mean,
You just have the answer locked and loaded.
this was like
they're all dying.
If this was like
they're yep, you're dying. You're dying.
Ethan,
you're okay.
You're a good friend
dying.
of mine. So if you were this person that just needed this medicine,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to be like, congratulations, full recovery.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm not going to tell you because I feel like,
Hey, what happened to those other 5 people?
body rejected the organ,
Oh, okay, cool.
got the blood types mixed up.
That's sad. You got the blood types mixed up? Whose job was that? Was that your
That's
job?
malpractice.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure killing someone is malpractice.
I just work here, bro. This is my first day here.
God.
Damn.
So what was this about the niece and the daughter? What?
Oh yeah.
Superhero?
If you were at the no, that was just a horrible segue there too. If you went to the beach with your daughter and your niece, and there was a storm, they got pulled in by the water, by the current that was about to take them out to sea, and you only had time to save one of them, would you save your daughter or your niece? Your daughter is the stronger swimmer, while your niece is not. That's what the scenario said.
How old are they?
In the scenario, it said 7, which is really young.
How could you be that good of a swimmer at 7 though against a strong current? Like
One of them is a
ocean?
stronger swimmer than the other. That's the scenario. It's not like they're Olympic
but that
level
doesn't mean
swimmers.
they're a good swimmer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I only have one niece at the time, so I don't want to answer this question in case she possibly hears this in the future.
So that's your answer right there.
I'm gonna-
You said niece, not
He
daughter.
pleads the 5th.
Not like
I'm
if
gonna
I
go
ever have a
ahead
daughter.
and choose to not answer this question. She already hates me enough as is. She screams and cries at the sight of me.
That's how mine used to be too.
I don't need her hating me anymore.
Nice.
I'm saving my daughter.
Jacob is a father. That we were talking about, like, oh, we're not parents. We don't know how to respond to that. You're saving your daughter.
Yeah.
I guess that's a valid answer.
Not saving your kid.
I'll
I'm
allow it.
sorry.
Damn.
Now, if
Saving
I
my
had a
own.
kid and like my brother chose to save his daughter over my kid, I'd be heartbroken. But I mean, I'd understand.
Probably be what you would do.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna answer that.
That's just a really hard situation. I would, if you put
there is
your
no right
daughter
answer.
in my stead at the beach, then that's my fault.
Yeah. But I didn't understand. If I was in your situation, I'd save my daughter.
You just
you
gotta
wouldn't.
give him some
I know.
You'd be
floaties.
very emotional, and you would get mad at me. We wouldn't speak for 5 years until we meet again at our
Illinois.
other brother's wedding in Illinois, and then
Yeah.
we both fly out there.
What's up with you guys in Illinois?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just going along with it at this point.
Ever since you agreed to be a guest, I was like, how am I going to introduce Brett? I'm going to say thank you for flying all the way out from Illinois. And I've just been
Respect.
thinking about that all week.
I was gonna say I didn't even know. I was totally in on the aspect that you actually flew from Illinois here. I was like, I could have sworn
I thought
you
that was
lived
just
here.
a joke.
So, well, I mean, at first I was like, I swear I've been to your house.
And then I was like, wait, did he actually fly from Illinois? Was he over there? And then he said the thing. Okay.
That's what you went along with it.
I
so
went along
well.
with it.
So I was like, did you actually come from Illinois?
Gosh. And none of us knew except Ethan. Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's me. Speaking of Illinois,
Shut up.
speaking of Illinois, I think Chicago, as in Chicago, Illinois, the Chicago Bears are going to get Russell Wilson. There you go. That's all we're going to talk about. And Jacob, what is the Jakey factuality of the
My
week?
God, that was horrible.
Guys, I promise I will work on my segues, and they will be seamless.
Okay, since earlier in the episode, this extended version of the White Noise podcast with Brett, thank you for being here. We talked about the PlayStation 5 shortage, and we went into all that. I actually looked up a surprising surprising to me at least. If you had to guess about how much of the fan base of PlayStation are women or female.
I'm gonna say 40%.
Okay.
Brett?
I'm going to say 41, Bob.
Are you trying to one up me? This
Good
is
strategy.
a game.
I'm going to go
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
57.
Okay. Brett is spot on. 41%.
Fuck you, Brett. God damn it.
If you would have guessed any other number.
God damn it.
And they actually had a bunch of other statistics.
Wow.
But I guess I was just moderately surprised, raised my eyebrows that it was 41. Like,
Well,
maybe it's the games that I play. I don't run into a
speaking
lot
of
of women.
PlayStation in general, they're going downhill, I think. Just with
With the Xbox, with Microsoft.
with Microsoft
purchasing-
buying everything and with the PlayStation 5 shortages.
They did just buy Bungie.
Bungie, yeah.
Bungie doesn't. Halo doesn't belong to Bungie.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Destiny, though.
Did you guys see the Halo teaser?
What?
The Halo show teaser?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh,
I haven't seen this.
I have heard about that. Yes.
yeah. It looked pretty legit. I'm not an avid Halo fan, so I don't know the specifics.
I
But
don't like video game movies or shows or anything like
true.
that. So
I just
get
think that with 343, the company that's now like helming Halos,
yeah,
they've been doing a shitty job when it comes to following consistency and stuff like that. So
well,
I have to wait till the show comes out. But I mean,
since
off of what they have so
Microsoft
far.
since Microsoft purchased Bethesda, it looks like I'm gonna have to buy an Xbox if I want to play Elder Scrolls 6.
or just get a PC.
Or, yeah, I was going to say PC.
But it's just I don't know. I'm a console playing those games. I just like a controller in my
I have a
hand.
controller and I
No,
play
you can
PC.
play it.
Yeah,
you
you
can
can-
play with the controller on PC.
You guys make things so difficult for me.
You could just say I'm difficult on purpose. It's cool.
I'm all.
I get it. I get it.
I'm difficult
I
on
get it.
purpose, guys. I'm also not very tech savvy, so I don't even see those as like possibilities.
That's fair. I have PlayStation 4 and I just got the PC, so I'm not like, oh, PC master race, that whole debate. But it is nice.
Yeah.
I will say.
I play Minecraft.
I have a PC and a PS5, and I split the time between the two. So
Oh wow, good for you.
thanks.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see you from all the way up here.
Sad. I'll bring a ladder next time to meet you up there on that high horse.
Did you back real quick? Back to moral dilemmas.
Oh my
Just real quick.
gosh.
Not moral dilemma, but more like a would you rather type thing. If Nerve Gear
Yes,
real.
I would get
Yes.
it.
was
Yep.
real.
Yes.
Gavin asked me this.
Do you know
a
what
couple
Nerve
weeks
Gear
ago.
is,
I
Brett?
have no idea what that is.
Have you heard of Sword Art Online, the anime?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I
Yeah.
didn't
Okay.
watch it.
Jay, give the rundown. Real
Yes.
The premise in this anime is there's like a huge tech company that creates this like virtual reality-esque piece of hardware that, you know, you put it on your head and you're in the game. You
So
feel
far,
like
you're just describing the metaverse, but
yeah, you're living, breathing in this game. You level up. You're playing a game,
It
but
feels real.
Yeah, it feels real. You feel pain, all that kind of stuff. You have to eat. So it like just came out. People go in, they buy this, they play this day one, and they find out that they're locked in there. They can't. There's no log out. They can't escape. And if they take their helmet off or somebody removes it, they die. There's like a microwave,
it's like microwave
radiation that
Yep.
like pops in the helmet or something.
How the fuck that was greenlit? I have no idea.
how did you get past testing?
So that's the premise.
Well, they did it on purpose. I think it was like malicious intent.
No, yeah, the developer
Yeah, he
wanted
says
this
he's
to
like,
happen.
good luck, guys. GG.
And then so he made like this whole game, and you have to like beat the game to get out.
And if you die in the game, you die in real life.
yes,
But
if you die in game, your microwave thing goes off. and
like
your
the whole
head's
thing is
blown
like
up.
it's a fantasy world. It's like real life D&D
like
basically.
RuneScape or whatever.
yeah,
You're
there's
like
like
grinding.
monsters. You grind XP. It's an
XP.
MMO. There you go.
Yeah.
So far, this sounds like the plot of Spy Kids 3, and I'm here for it.
Pretty much, it's pretty close to that.
It's a lot better animation.
But the whole thing is like
Lot better
if Nerve
visually.
Gear came out,
Yes.
The hardware.
if the hardware came out, and you knew the consequences of it, would you still get it?
100%, yes.
Yes.
That's
I would not.
Absolutely, dude. Are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
the only thing that holds me back from that though is someone else removing it from me and then
Sticky
dying.
note. Don't remove.
I think of like the Among Us
Don't remove
character
or I
with a
die.
sticky note on it. Okay.
I play video games. I am not good at them, so I would die.
Well, it's just like real life. Like there are the players like in the show. There's the people that are actually trying to beat the game. There's people that are just playing it safe and
Like there's
running
people who are like
shops.
have shops and they just like there's like a
Living
there's like a
everyday
cook
life.
like people who like have cooking XP.
Yeah.
So like when they cook, they like if their XP is high enough, they make better food or something like that. Or you can use certain ingredients when you're a high enough level. That's something that they
Yeah.
have in the show. So it's like you don't have to like fight things or like beat the game to get out. Like there are people literally just like cooking and living there.
So I could live out my RuneScape days and just mine 100% of the time. All right,
And there's
maybe.
they have like a squad of people that like run through to try to beat the game.
Well,
So
'cause
like
I think if as long as one person beats
Yeah.
the game, everybody can.
so
get out.
technically you could have people beat the game, and other people are just like, okay, we'll wait till they beat the game, I guess, and then we'll get out.
Okay,
I just
this
couldn't
is
get-
sounding more appealing.
There you go.
It's definitely higher stakes and cooler than Ready Player One. But I would also do Ready Player One. You know,
I would also do Ready Player One.
Ready Player
I've never
One.
seen Ready Player One.
I can't believe you.
I'm gonna get an Oculus now.
I recently tried that out, and I was always like, man, this can't be that good. When I put that shit on, I was like, oh my god,
I've never
it
done it.
works so well, dude.
Oculus.
I feel like
is
it's gonna
actually
get
really
even
good.
better.
I'm gonna get like one of those treadmill things too that you strap yourself
Yeah.
in.
Did
That'd
you
be super
Did you
cool.
use it? Was it like the
Yeah, the controllers or whatever.
Yeah, so like I've seen them now. They have gloves that you
Oh,
put
okay.
on, so you can have independent finger movement.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's gonna get.
We're getting
wild.
close, boys. We're getting close.
We're almost there.
We just need to get
15 more years.
I remember when SAO first came out, I was like, oh, it's projected that something like Nerve Gear will be possible in 2022.
Let's go.
And look, the metaverse.
Uh-oh.
Almost there.
Uh-oh. All right.
Mark Zuckerberg wants to trap me in a game. I'm here for it.
The dying in real life part wouldn't be cool, but I mean, outside of that,
When you die, you die. I mean, it's
Would
just
I
like, it's
rather
just like
die
regular
to-
life. You die in real life, you die.
yeah, but I'm not gonna die in real life fighting like a fucking minotaur. Or some
Yeah,
shit.
that'd be way more sick.
Yeah.
fair.
Like, what am I gonna die to? Hypertension or like defeating a basilisk or
Exactly.
failing to defeat a basilisk? I guess
You got a good point there.
I'll go
All
with
right.
hypertension.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at OEF_white noise and at One Eyed Fits. Our YouTube is at One Eyed Fits. It's the same thing on Spotify. It's just a picture you get to look at while you listen to us.
I guess YouTube is the best place to leave your comment as well, right?
Exactly. Leave a comment or tweet us, respond to our tweets. I'm going to post the Marlon Brando drawing. You can
Nice.
respond there. If you have any questions, any topics you want us to talk about, or even paranormal experience, we can always bring that back with something that you guys have experienced. We are now on Apple Podcasts.
Let's go.
So, we're on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. So yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen. And this week's Song of the Week, it's a song I discovered a little over a week ago called I Hope You're Happy by Games We Play.
Banger.
It's a smaller band that's up and coming. This song is what's kind of making them get recognition. It has a very early alternatives, like edgy vibe to it, edgy rock. And
Punk rock.
that's punk rock. That's I love that era of music. And you should really check it out. It's a banger. It's a bop. It goes hard.
I hope you're happy. Games
I
we
Hope
play.
You're Happy by Games We Play. Let us know what you think, and make sure to tune in next week for Ex Machina review and other discussions. And Brett, do you have anything else you want to let the people know?
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for letting me, guys. I know this is probably much longer than you're used to, but
A little extended version
It's a banger.
of White Noise Podcast.
yeah, I have a podcast with some other guys. We talk about movies that we like that critics did not, and
I think that's a really I have a quick question.
Yes.
How do you find the movies that you like? Like,
so it's called Rotten Gems.
Okay.
And so, we based it off of what was deemed rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
So anything that was deemed 59% by critics and below is deemed rotten. So for us to talk about a movie, one, we'd have to like it, or at least some of us would have to, and it would have to be rotten. And then we watch the movie together, or not together, but all at the same time, kind of like you do for Godfather.
So that means Space Jam was rotten?
Space Jam was rotten.
Oh, man.
do you take the audience score into consideration at all?
Yeah. Most of the time we see that critics hated it, but fans loved it.
Yeah.
So we're among it. And we talk about the movie, we break it down scene by scene, basically, and then we play some fun games with the characters. Like we play a game called Bed Wed Behead, when we pick 3 characters from the movie and whatnot. We do 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon with 2 characters and whatnot. So we get up to some crazy stuff there,
Awesome.
but yeah, that's called Rotten Gems. We
Where's
have 12 episodes out today. Our 12th episode just dropped this week.
Let's go.
It's for Mortal Kombat, the original.
Oh.
Yeah, the original Mortal Kombat.
You like that?
I loved it.
Gavan's
Movie
shaking
was
his head.
fucking awful.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Well,
god.
dude, okay.
You know what? We're gonna do video of this podcast of just Gavan's reactions. to
Now,
everything
I'm glad you mentioned this because opinions can change from when we first saw that, and that's not uncommon on Rotten Gems. We go into this movie with the nostalgia high, loving it, and some movies maybe it doesn't end that way. But
It's just so cheesy. It's
totally. But
watching the action scenes, it's oh man, it's very
well,
isolated.
spoiler: the next episode that's going to come out is the new Mortal Kombat.
Look at that.
which
Let's
was
go.
also rotten.
Look at that. You guys
But-
got a sneak peek at Rotten Gems, and where can they find that?
So we are on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well. I just started putting our videos on YouTube, so it's a little behind there. I'm just going to release one video every week on there, just so maybe someone could find it if it's consistently posting, rather than just put them all up there. But for the most part, everything's all up to date on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts. But
Nice.
we are
Awesome.
all around, and that is just Rotten Gems. You can find us on Instagram, Rotten Gems, Twitter. We got lucky and we didn't have to use any underscores or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, must be nice. All right, yeah, so cool. Make sure to tune in next week where we will watch Ex Machina. Brett, thank you for joining us.
Woo.
Thanks for having me.
We know you will be back certainly in the future, so we look forward to that as well. All right, so we'll see you guys next week. We have to go jump Gavan in the metaverse.